A very good morning, students. In the previous video, we studied about the methods of the collection of the primary data. Now in this video, we will study about the collection of the secondary data. Basically, the secondary data can be collected from the two sources. The first one is the published sources and second one is the unpublished sources. Now basically the published sources are the ones which are in the published form or in the printed form, which have been published by any institution or any agency who must have done the survey according to their objective of the study. On the other hand, the unpublished sources are the ones which are available in the form of office records and is also generally collected by the government organizations or the institutions related to that. So these are the main two sources from which the secondary data can be collected. Now under published sources, there are number of sources available from which we can collect the secondary data according to our objective of the study. The first one among the published sources is government publications. As we know that government used to collect the information or the data related to the various matters which are being carried on or the problems which may take place in a certain country. So therefore the government collects the data on the basis of their objective of study and make the publications. It can be either annually or quarterly, or some of the organizations or the government offices also makes the surveys on regular basis, which we will also study further. Among the government publications, you can take the example like that of the Reserve Bank of India Bulletin, in which our central bank publishes about its monetary policy, in which it tells about how they will control the money supply in an economy. You can also take the example of the report on currency and banking, in which a report is prepared and that report gives us the information about the banking system and the rates of the currency or the exchange rates which are changing on day-to-day basis. Some other examples are Agricultural Statistics of India, in which the agricultural record is maintained by the government publications. Now the second one is the semi-government publications. In this published sources, the semi-government bodies such as municipalities or municipal corporations collects the data and publishes that, and that data basically relates to the education, health, birth rates, death rates, sanitation, etc. And this type of data is also reliable and very much useful for us, as if we want to collect data related to the demographic profile of a certain locality, we can take help of these kind of published sources. The third one is the report of committees and commissions. As we know, each and every district as well as each and every city is having the committees or the commissions, and these committees and commissions used to collect the information about their locality. And the main commissions which are working in India on the basis of the whole economy are Finance Commission, Planning Commission, Monopolies Commission, etc. About all these commissions you will come to know about in your grade 12th. So what you have to note down right now is that the name of these commissions, just that is, these type of committees and commissions provide us with the various statistical information which will be provided to us in the form of the secondary data. The next type of published source of secondary data is publications of the trade associations. Now basically what are the trade associations? These are the groups or the associations which are formed by various companies when they come up together, and these associations used to collect the data about the certain industries in a particular area. So this is the work of the trade associations. And now publications of trade associations includes the data related to the various trading activities, that is the buying and selling of certain commodities which are being done by the companies, and for which companies these trade associations are working, they will publish the data related to those companies. For example, if we may talk about the textile industry, so the data related to the textile industry, that is how many firms are there under the textile industry, or how many units are being produced by the various firms under the textile industry. So all this data will be collected by the trade associations and they will publish those data so that it may be helpful to the other individuals who are in requirement of that data. The next one is the publications of the research institutions. Basically, the research institutions performs the research functions based on their objective. For example, if we talk about Indian Statistical Institute, this is the institute which used to publish information related to the statistical data on a regular basis, which will be helpful to the ones who are doing the statistical study related to the various matters. Similarly, there may be some institutions or the universities, like you can take the example of AIIMS, and they will publish their data which they must have collected and which will be further helpful to the ones who are collecting the secondary data. The next one is the journals and papers. These basically includes the newspapers or the magazines, which is a main source of the collection of the secondary data. You can take the example of the Economic Times or some journals which are published by various institutions like ICAI publishes its journals, which is helpful for the chartered accountants in a certain country. Or you can take the example of the magazines such as Commerce Facts for You, which will provide the information related to the commerce subjects and the various companies or their information, which will be helpful for us and will provide to us with a large variety of the statistical information. The next one is the publication of research scholars. Now, research scholars are the ones who are doing the research work or the activities related to the research, and sometimes they also publish their research work, which will be quite a good statistical information for us. And the last one is the international publications. Now, there are certain international organizations like United Nations Organization, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, that is IMF. Now, these kind of institutions also publish a lot of statistical information, and therefore this data, that is the data provided by these international organizations, will also be very much helpful to us to collect the data related to the whole world. So this was all about the published sources. The next source of secondary data is the unpublished sources. So these data are collected by the government organizations and others for their self-use or office record. Basically, this type of data is not in the published form, and this is kept by the government organizations as their office record, and this can also be used as the secondary data. Now, before using this secondary data, some precautions need to be used so that to make the data more reliable, so that the data can be checked beforehand, that is the data suitable for the objective of the study, or is the data adequate. These questions may often come to our mind while using the secondary data, that is whether the data is reliable or suitable for the purpose of our inquiry, or whether the data is adequate enough to resolve our issues, or whether it matches our objective of the study. So accordingly, a famous statistician Connor has rightly said that statistics, especially other people's statistics, are full of pitfall for the users, which means that if we are using the data which is collected by the other users, is actually full of the pitfalls, or you can say the information which is conveyed by the published or the unpublished sources which are taken by us as the secondary data may not fulfill the objective of the study for which we need that data. So therefore we need to use some precautions while using the secondary data. The first precaution to be taken while using the secondary data is that ability of the collecting organization. That is, we must firstly check out that the organization of whom we are using the data, is that organization able enough or efficient and experienced enough that we can use the data collected by those organizations. The second precaution to be taken is objective and the scope. According to this precaution, we need to firstly check that what objective or what was the objective of the study of the organizations which have firstly collected the data, and what is their scope of study, that is what parameters are included in their data. So that secondary data must only be used if the objective and the scope of study as undertaken earlier by that organization matches up with the objective and scope of our present study. So this was the second precaution. Now the third one is the method of collection. Now we must also check out the method of collection of the data of the certain organizations from which we are taking the secondary data. So therefore the method which they have used must match the nature of the investigation. For example, if we need more accurate information related to the population of our study, but the organization has collected the data based on the samples of that population, so that data will not be suitable for us because the accuracy must not be there based on the samples of the certain population. So these kind of things must be kept in mind before relying on the secondary data. The next one is the time and conditions of the collection. So therefore, beforehand of using the secondary data, we must check out that what time and conditions were there when the data has been firstly collected by the certain organization. If the conditions are not matching up with the present conditions, that is, for example, if the organization would have collected the data at the time of the recession of an economy, that is, when the price level of the economy was very much low, so in that case we cannot use that data because in the present study maybe the conditions may be satisfying or the price level in the economy would have been normal. Or we can take another example also. For example, the organization would have collected the data at the time of war, so that data will not be suitable for our study if the present conditions are the normal conditions. So this point must also be considered while taking the help of the secondary data. The next one is the definition of the unit. For example, I need to calculate the average height of the students of my class, and that data must have been beforehand collected by the school administration. But the height would have been collected in centimeters, but I would require that in another unit. So what I need to do, I need to firstly convert that unit, that is centimeters, into the unit in which I need the data. So therefore this precaution must also be taken beforehand. The next one is the accuracy, which means that the accuracy of the data must be checked beforehand. If the degree of accuracy is less as compared to the accuracy required by our present study, then that data must not be used because the results may vary accordingly. So these were some of the precautions to be used beforehand while using the secondary data. Now here comes the two important sources of the secondary data. The first one is the Census of India and the second one is the reports and publications of NSSO, that is National Sample Survey Organization. The first one is the Census of India. You must have heard about this term, as Census of India is a publication of the Government of India and is generally published by Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India. As we know that population census is conducted after every 10 years, so what is the main motive behind that Census of India? Basically, they used to collect data about the population from which they come to know about the various other parameters also, that is about the state of literacy, that is how much population is literate in India and how much is illiterate, and also about the size, growth rate and distribution of the population in India, that is how much population is there in the rural areas as compared to the urban areas, and other information like the number of males as compared to the females in a particular country or related to a certain area. All these kind of parameters are included in the publication known as the Census of India, which is a publication of the government and is generally published by Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India. Or you can say it is also a comprehensive source of secondary data which provides us with the comprehensive data related to the certain parameters from which we can make out certain results related to the objective of our study. As we know that when census is conducted in India, each and every household is covered under that study and all the information are collected related to that, and which further may involve the accuracy and reliability of data, which will be very much helpful for us for the further study. And various policies, you can say economic policies, are based on the Census of India publication, that is the policies which are made by the government of India. The next important source of the secondary data is National Sample Survey Organization. Basically, it is a government organization under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And the surveys are conducted by this organization to collect statistical information related to the economic activities in rural and urban parts of the country. So basically the motive of this organization is to conduct the surveys based on the samples taken out from the whole population. For example, I want to conduct a survey of my locality in which there are 1000 people living. So from those 1000 people, I would have taken out the sample of 100 units. So I will base my study on those 100 people which have been taken out from the whole population of 1000 people. So similarly, this organization takes out the sample from the whole population related to which they want certain information, and therefore it is a government organization under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. They conduct the surveys to collect statistical information, and that information is related to the rural and urban areas of a certain country. The next point is that statistical data which is collected by NSSO are released through its quarterly journal which is known as Sarvekshana. It is a very important objective question which may be asked like, the data collected by NSSO is published in which journal? And the answer for that will be Sarvekshana. And it is generally released on quarterly basis, in which they will publish the data which have been collected by their surveys. The next one is that their reports are also known as NSSO reports. This is also a question from objective point of view. The next point is reports and publications based on sample study of population or universe, that is the reports which are made, that is the NSSO reports which are made by this organization, and its various publications are based on the sample study, which I have already explained you that they may take out some sample units from the whole population on the basis of which they will carry out the results. And the parameters which are involved in the sample survey organization reports are, it may include the land and livestock holdings, the housing conditions and migration, that is number of people who may be migrating from the rural areas to the urban areas. The next one may be employment and unemployment status, the source of household income, etc. So these are some of the parameters which are covered by the National Sample Survey Organization, and from these parameters you may come to know about that they usually collect the information related to the rural as well as the urban areas, or you can say about the quality of life of the people living in a certain locality or living in a certain area. The last topic of this chapter is that important agencies at national level. Basically, these are the names of some agencies which performs the statistical study at the national level. The first one among that is NSSO, which we studied right now, that is the National Sample Survey Organization. The next one is the Labour Bureau, which collects the information about the labor which are working in a certain country. The next one is RGI. RGI is Registrar General of India, which collects information related to the various companies which are working in our country. And the last one is DGCIS, and the full form of that is Directorate General of Commercial Intelligence and Statistics. Basically, this organization or this agency also performs the statistical studies basically related to the commercial intelligence. So these are some of the agencies which are working in India and collects the statistical data, and we can collect the secondary data from these organizations as per our requirement. So this was all about our today's video, and with this our second chapter is also completed, that is the collection of the data. Thank you so much.